Alright, y'all, you are in for a treat. We are going to run through the pre-calc review tests. I'm going to just go through these answers real quick, and hopefully you're going to retake this thing sometime if you got a poor grade. Okay, number one. Number one was 100 divided by 5 minus 3 to the x equals negative 25. Now the first thing we got to do here is get rid of the x in the denominator, so we're going to multiply everything by 5 minus 3 to the x, which essentially is just cross multiplying here. So we're going to end up with 100 equals negative 25 times 5 minus 3 to the x. Cool. Now a lot of people distributed this negative 25 like this. The problem with doing that is you cannot multiply negative 25 times 3 to the x because they don't have the same exponent. So that was a poor choice if that is what you ended up doing. So don't do that. Okay. Hey man. Let's get rid of this junk here. Okay, so we're not going to distribute this. Okay, what we are going to do is divide everything by negative 25. We don't want that negative 25 there, so just divide by them. And when you do that on both sides, you get negative 4. Whoa there, Chief. Negative 4 equals 5 minus 3 to the x. Now again, we want to get x by itself, so we're going to do natural log eventually, but you can't take natural log until you have 3 to the x all by itself. So we got to subtract off 5 from each side, which is negative 9 equals negative 3 to the x. We don't want a negative there, so we're going to divide by negative, which is 9 equals 3 to the x. And now this is easy. 3 to what power equals 9? X equals 2. Alright, that's number one. Number two says, what happened there? Number two says, log base 10 of x squared minus 39 is equal to, whoa, not equal to, I need an eraser of some kind on this thing. That's not what I want. Here we go. Get out of there. Okay. Minus log base x equals 1. There we go. Okay. When you have logs, you want to get them all together. So the first thing you should do here is have log, I'm going to make one big fraction here, of x squared minus 39 divided by x equals 1. And once everything's in a log, you rewrite exponentially. So this is log base 10 really. So we get 10 to the first, which is just 10, equals x squared minus 39 over x. So we're going to cross multiply here and get 10x equals x squared minus 39. And then we're going to take that, and it's a quadratic, so I'm just going to get everything on the same side. X squared minus 10x minus 39 equals 0. Now we got to factor it. We need two numbers that multiply negative 39 and add to negative 10. Well, they are negative 13 and positive 3. So our answer should be x equals 13, x equals negative 3. The only problem with that is when you try to plug negative 3 back in, we end up with, check this out, when you plug negative 3 into here, right here, you end up with log of negative 3. Well, you can't plug a negative number into a log, so negative 3 is actually an extraneous root. So the only answer is x equals 13. Okay, moving on. Let's go back to black here. Number 3 was 5 over x minus 3. Let's make that an x. X minus 3 plus 6 over x plus 2 equals 6. Yeah, we do not want variables in the denominator, so we're going to multiply everything by a common denominator, which is x minus 3 times x plus 2. When you do that here, this first fraction, 5 over x minus 3, is going to become 5 times x plus 2, because x minus 3 is canceled. Plus 6 times, now when you multiply those two things by this fraction, x plus 2s are going to cancel, so you have 6 times x minus 3 equals, and on the right hand side you just get 6 times x minus 3 times x plus 2. No big deal. So this is going to simplify into 5x plus 10 plus 6x minus 18 equals, and multiply this stuff out, you're going to get 6x squared, okay, minus 6x minus 36. Alright, so we can get everything together here. So I'll move everything from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, and we're going to get 6x squared. 5x and 6x make 11x. We're going to subtract that off, so that makes negative 17x. And 10 minus 18 is negative 8, so we're going to add 8, and that makes this turn into negative 28. Now, I don't know if this thing factors or not, but I really don't feel like dealing with it. So what I'm going to do is a quadratic formula. So we're going to end up with, come on now, x equals 17, which is negative b, plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 17 squared, minus 4 times 6 times negative 28. All that's going to be over 12, which is 2 times 6. And if you simplify it down, I think you should end up with x equals 4 or x equals negative 7, 6. Okay. But really, if you don't have a calculator, this is perfectly fine by me. You don't need to go that far. Okay. Number 4, square root. So 4, come on, 4 is the square root of x plus 5 is equal to x plus 2. Now, we're going to get rid of this square root, so we're allowed to square both sides. As long as you do it to both sides, you're totally fine. So x squared. On this side, we just get x plus 5. And on this side, we get x squared plus 4x plus 4. Now it's just a quadratic. Get everything on one side. X squared plus 3x minus 1. And that doesn't factor, so we get a quadratic formula, and you end up with x equals negative b, which is negative 3, plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 9, minus 4 times a times c over 2a, 2 times 1. And the best you can simplify that down to is, try and squeeze it in here, negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 plus 4 is 13 over 2. And you're done. Okay, I'm going to stop here. That was 1 through 4. So let's do 5 and 6 real quick in here. Number 5. Come on, pencil. Number 5 was 3, absolute value x minus 6 plus 2 equals 8. And I told you when you see this, you just get two equations. You get 3 times the original, put it in parentheses, or you get negative 3 times the original guy plus 2 equals 8. When you solve both of these, you can do minus 2 divided by 3. You get x minus 6 equals 2, so x is 8. And over here, minus 2 divided by negative 3, you get x minus 6 equals negative 2. When you add 6 to that, you get 4. So those are your two answers, 8 and 4. Okay, and the last one, number 6, well, the last equation anyway. Number 6 is k over c plus d is equal to 7 over d minus u. And we're going to solve this for d. So we're going to cross multiply here to get our d's out of the denominator. And we get k times d minus u. These are all just numbers, doesn't really matter. 7 times c plus d. So this turns into k times d minus k times u. Over here we have 7c plus 7d. When you're trying to solve for a variable and you got more than one, move it all to one side and factor out that variable. So I'm going to move this 7d over to the other side. I'm going to subtract off 7d. And that's going to turn into kd minus 7d is equal to 7c plus ku. And now on this side, we're going to factor out d, which leaves us with d times k minus 7 equals 7c plus ku. And now let's just draw a line here so we're not confused. And now we're going to divide by k minus 7 on both sides. So d is 7c plus ku over k minus 7. Okay.